It was late at night, or early in the morning, however you wish to look at it, slightly foggy, chilly, yet warm, and over a starry sky. A scent of the morning dew filled the air. 'Tis was late spring, June 5th to be exact. The streets of this fairly big city were dim to a rather rare dimness that really sends the blackness to a beauty and gets taken advantage of all too often. He messaged her after months without contact. His message read, a simple, I miss you. These two people had this sort of understanding between each other, a bit of voodoo, if you may. Because no matter the distance, nor the thought, it was as if a bond let them into each other's mind at any time. I suppose you could say they truly were soulmates. I am an anal being, and I tend to fall off topic, so please bear with me. She replied almost instantaneously. What do you want? Honestly, I would have expected more of a deeper saying from her, because of the situation. But hey, it was probably just a mask of what she really was thinking. She had a history of doing such things in the past that I would consider a pre-volic, or in this case, written, subconscious, defensive mechanism that filters what she says in order to protect herself from what she would consider to be a heartbreak. What she was about to read, though, was going to make her cry. I love you, Jano. I want to reunite us. I will make sure it's your fantasy. Just please, baby, do this for us. We once had. I don't want to live through this anymore. I know I've been an asshole, and I don't deserve this chance. But, sweetheart, you do. You deserve the future we can and we'll have. And I will do everything I can to make your fantasy come true. After she read that message, she sent a crying emojicon followed by, I can meet you right now. Please, right now. I miss you so much, and this is my fantasy. Just talking to you is all I need to be happy, but my heaven is in your arms. This isn't the first time a conversation this instantly touching has happened between these two. They've actually once had an amazing relationship. But always there was some kind of childish thing that set them apart, which was quite the sorrow-filled story in itself. But that's none of my business. I shall only recall my encounter with this young couple that knew what the tale of true love was. In a matter of 5 minutes, they were both ready to leave, and they arranged to meet up at a center point. Between them, which just so happened to be an old segment of train tracks that were not in service anymore, although they had no idea of it when they left their homes. Their doors closed simultaneously, almost as it was meant to be across the city. 2 clicks of a latch happened at the same time. I found this rather amazing, and I don't see why the beauty of that natural occurrences should not be pointed out. They met upon the train tracks as planned. When she saw him, she shouted out his name, Demi, and started running towards him. She had so much love in her heart and hope in her mind. He, however, just kept his head down, hood up, and hands in his pockets. When she finally reached talking distance of him, she ran to give him a hug. He shrugged her off and said the following line, Please don't say another word. I'm going to make your fantasy a reality as a final farewell bidding. Just do as I say and do not talk. This frightened her, and she dropped her purse. Before I carry on, I just want to bring up a conversation these two shared exactly 15 months prior to this date, when their relationship was strong. They had just finished making love and lie naked in her bed. She rolls onto his chest and looks him in the eyes and says, You know what would be awesome, Demi? What, my love? He wondered. Before I tell you, you have to promise you will do it one day for me, because it might sound weird. Do you promise you will do it? Only if you promise you will love me forever, sweetheart. I was already going to do that for you, baby boo. Okay, sweetheart, let's hear your proclamation then. One day, I know we're going to end up breaking up, and I want you to know I'm only yours. So one day, if you're about to lose hope on us, I want you to rape me. I'll enjoy it. It would never be rape from you. But it will remind me of all the good times we had before, and it would be a fantasy of mine to come true. He looked at her strangely. Sure, I guess. But let's just hope we never break up. He then kissed her, and the conversation was over. He proceeded the commands he gave her by grabbing her by her sweater and ripping it down the center by the zipper. This scared her, but she never said anything. He continued with acts and forced her shirt off her back and then ripped her bra off the clips. She started to cry. He looked in her eye and said, I love you. He then ripped open her pants, breaking the flying button, and tore them down to her ankles. He pushed her to the ground, slid her underwear off, and forced her legs open. He undid his pants and moved in closer. She was crying and trying to whimper a weak no, but all that came out was He then passionately raped the crying girl. Jano has already known a relatively tough life. She's seen the worst at the crackheads and experienced firsthand what it's like to run into pedophiles, rapists, and so on. She learned one thing about staying safe. On the second attempt, Jano let Dammy get close to her. She cried in his arms for about 15 minutes. He cried as well and kept repeating, I'm so sorry. I thought... I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought that was... Jano reached into her purse on the ground beside her, and Dammy's stutter was interrupted by click, click, bang. His body fell loose, and the man she proclaimed as her everlasting king lay expressionless on her lap. Another bullet flew moments later. Only this one did a ballot at point blank into the mind of little Miss Jano. There the lovers lay, their final rest together, interrupted only by the police. The last man on earth sat in the corner of his room. There was a knock at his door. No, the man thought. There's no one out there. I merely imagined it. He told himself promptly there had been a mysterious illness that had broken out among the world, causing all that came across it to succumb as soon as it got in their system. The man does not remember what the cause of the epidemic was. He had gone insane long ago. All he knew was there was no survivors. There was no one left. He was the last man standing. There was a knock at his bedroom door. The man was frightened. He knew whatever was out there was not right. But he needed to know who was at the door. The man, shaking and stiff, got up to look through the eye hole at his door. He slowly put his eye up to the hole, only to be met with 2 rows of knife-like teeth. Then an eye. It was inky black and full of malice. He could hear the being, breathing heavily. Excited by its find, the man jumped back, because now it didn't matter if he pretended he wasn't there, for the creature already knew of his presence. The man's door was busted down, and all he saw was a bright light before escaping into the world of black. The man woke up in a white room, completely unharmed. He heard a voice. Mr. Smith, I see you finally have awoken. The man, confused and still shaken from whatever that creature was, turned to the voice and said, Where am I? Am I dreaming? Are they more survivors? The man was horribly confused. Everyone had died. How is it possible? Possible to even be in the presence of another human being? The woman responded, Mr. Smith, whatever are you talking about? You're in a hospital. You've been in a coma for 13 years. It's a miracle that you have now woken up. The man, surprised and feeling lost, said, So, everyone's all right? He quickly hopped out of the bed and started crying out of joy for all the horrible nightmare, because there was nothing to worry about anymore. Suddenly, the man woke up. He was back in his delivered room, not a scratch present, and he couldn't believe it. Just a dream, huh? Said the man, voice cracking, and he started to sob. Fine then. He stood up, walked to the corner, and sat down. The last man on earth sat in the corner of his room. There was a knock at his door.